Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center at 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm Sommer Marie.
And this is Cinema Classics and Ms. Derud. A couple of weeks ago, John and I did our top 10 lists.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves lists.
They do.
Everybody loves lists at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Best this, best
top
that.
10, wow.
But you know what people don't do? Is talk about all the movies on those lists that are overrated.
Yep.
So I want to talk about that.
Okay. Can we slip some underrated maybe in as well?
You can slip underrated in, but I'm focusing on overrated. You can do what you want.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, we have here this movie Moonlight.
Yeah, people are not going to like that you're calling it overrated.
I think it's overrated.
I agree.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree on that.
Let's talk about.
Reason being, for me, is that I just feel like it's slight. So we're dealing with this young black boy who's dealing with being gay, and I know that it's very difficult, you know. But you know, the movie is told in three parts. He's very young, then he's sort of like an adolescent, and then he's this sort of, you know, ripped out like big dude, and he's like super cool, and
all gold teeth.
Then and a gun.
Yeah.
And a cool car.
Right.
And he doesn't seem gay at all. So he's buried this feeling, but we don't really ever see that.
Yeah.
And I think it's it seems cowardly to me.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that we didn't get to see the depth of that desire or what that's like or the longing. I wanted to see the craving for to sort of indulge in his desires, or it to be just within his reach and not be able to have
exactly.
it.
There's a scene at the end where he gets back together with the guy who's with whom he's had his only encounter, and he tells the guy, "You're the only one who's ever touched me."
Right.
But that doesn't resonate with any tragedy because we don't know what he's been through.
My favorite type of movie is the one that kind of gives it's just full of ache and longing, and we got that guy wasn't...
Not much ache, not much longing.
The other thing, too, is there were some things in that movie that just, to me, got left. They were introduced and left. Like, whatever happened to the guy who was sort of his, the drug dealer, he just
surrogate father.
Off. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Anyway, okay. Another movie we watched recently that was extraordinarily well reviewed last year was Green Room, the little horror movie about the band trapped by neo-Nazis.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. I hadn't heard about this movie until much more recently.
Yeah.
And you think it's overrated?
Yes, I was very excited about it. The director directed this movie called Blue Ruin a couple of years ago. That was a really small, little crime thriller. So this came with it a lot of, I was excited to see it. And like I said, everybody loved it.
I loved it. I was
You did.
pleasantly surprised. Movies like that, those typically aren't my, in my wheelhouse anyway. Those sort of like thriller kind of, but I was pleasantly surprised. In fact, I thought it was a little underrated.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was nearly as violent as I'd heard, and I thought Patrick Stewart.
You didn't think it was as violent?
No,
Gosh,
other than the guy getting his belly opened up, and
that wasn't as
and
violent.
Anton Yelchin getting his arm nearly chopped off.
What do you need? What do you need? Like
I don't know. Actually what I wanted from it was a lot more villainy from Patrick Stewart, who I heard was supposed to be so great as a villain, and really not so much going on there.
I like that.
How about The Lobster?
Okay, here's one where I think we will also disagree.
Okay.
I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. You know, this is like, it's interesting. It's not like, it's an interesting premise. There's unique things happening, and I feel like it's a giant allegory for the way human beings identify in terms of, relationships, and there's this, there's this camp of single people, and all the people who are in relationships, they're lame, and
Yeah.
people who have families, they're boring.
It was
and
this.
then,
It was
yeah.
a great dystopian vision of romance.
Yes. So
I just wanted more from Colin Farrell. When you have a movie like that, it seems so much of it is predicated on the chemistry between the two stars.
Yeah, I thought
And
they had a lot
really?
of chemistry.
I don't know.
Especially, to me,
I missed it.
Well, and they had to communicate that desire for each other secretly, and I
Mhm.
really thought it translated to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great.
Talk about a character who disappears in the middle of it without any explanation. John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
It was a great supporting character, and he just up and
Yeah, I'll give you that. That he just kind of
Takes
falls
off.
off.
yeah.
Right.
All right. What about Swiss Army Man?
Again, okay, so again, I thought it was like wildly clever, so unique, something that in terms of like unique premises and interesting things going on, I loved it. Where it is overrated,
Mm-hmm.
that comes into play with the end. I thought, right? We both kind of the end. They just didn't know how. They just kept
Yeah.
writing. It felt like they.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say so much the ending as the third act is a mess.
Yeah.
And there's like a 20-minute. It's like 20 minutes. You can't just, sometimes like a short little ending.
Yeah.
Like John is always, he doesn't care about the ending.
Yeah.
But that you're talking about a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
This is 20 minutes of rambling nonsense that undermines everything that came before.
Yes, because everything that came before was just so weird and.
It was
just-
great. It was
yeah.
one of the great buddy movies of recent years.
Yeah.
Until they ruin it. Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm going to rattle off some titles, and you tell me if they're overrated or underrated.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jackie.
Overrated.
Overrated?
Mhm.
Yeah. The Nice Guys.
Way overrated.
Way
That movie,
overrated.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
That was a mess.
Let's touch upon a little family film here. Zootopia, which was, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the best reviewed movie of the year. Oh, you
Yeah.
haven't seen it?
No.
Okay. I'll just say, I'll answer for you. It's overrated.
Okay.
And how about this one everybody was talking about near the end of the year? Arrival.
I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was also really, I don't know, getting somebody who is an expert in linguistics to
Mhm.
translate, alien life, like language.
Yeah.
That to me was, and I love
That to me was a brilliant premise,
It was a
lazily executed.
brilliant premise, but I also thought, and again, like allegorically, I love the play on like time being totally interrupted.
Mhm.
She mentions early on, and I think it's foreshadowing that their concept of time is different than ours, and her idea of time is going to be completely, shattered, and that's exactly what happens in the film. And I
Mhm.
think that's hard for people too.
Right, and then there's the, is this really happening or isn't it? Is the little girl dead or isn't she?
Yeah.
Like, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. How about just, let's deal with, can we communicate with aliens?
Yeah. Right. It's too much.
One more, La La Land.
Wow. It's, I think people thought it was going to be amazing, and it is. So I think it hit. I wouldn't say it's
okay.
okay. Well, we
I
have
thought
one
for
thing.
sure you were gonna say it was overrated.
I got a lot of hype, which for me sometimes can be problematic when there's a lot of hype surrounding a film or anything really. I'm resistant, and when I'm like, I will decide for myself, But the one thing I thought there could have been more musical numbers. There's like the wide gap of there's no, it stops being a musical.
That's true. You're gonna be shocked, but I agree.
Wow.